All right, we're here with Laura Smith of eXp Realty,
Yes.
Team Smith.
Yes.
What else are we?
We are Laura Bucksmith
right.
with Team Smith at eXp Realty.
Sure.
Yes.
So Laura's been a good friend, probably known her. See, I've been married 15 years, so probably 17, 18 years.
Yes.
And I have a Laura, and you've known my Laura since kindergarten.
I love your Laura.
This isn't the first time we've met.
No, we're like family.
Pretty much.
It's past the point of being friends.
So one of the great things about doing what I do is I kind of get to see folks grow, and Laura is probably the one of the biggest examples that I always get in terms of getting started in the real estate business. I can remember the day that she came through. She came through in June. Her husband came through in July. I don't know why I know this, but I know this.
I didn't even know that.
And then just to
2004.
watching the two of you kind of grow and become sort of a powerhouse, I'll say it, in terms of the real estate business, really it's just fun to watch people flourish. So what I would like to do is just kind of start with, what do you think that's attributed to? Like how did you get from coming in 2005, which the market was okay.
04.
Right? 04. And then we went to 05 and then just kind of get to where today. So
oh gosh.
Start from the beginning. How'd you get started?
Okay. Honestly, I always wanted to do real estate. I don't know if I ever told you that. And I didn't even want to go to college. I just wanted to come straight to real estate school. To be honest with you, all my life, that's what I wanted to do. I love people. I love homes. I love the busyness of it. And so 2000, my parents made me go to LSU.
Yes.
They said, you got to graduate from college. So I did that. Got that done quickly. We went into the restaurant business for just a short time. And then I got into real estate 2004. And my husband got in 3 months later after me. Mm-hmm. So I always say I'm more experienced.
You are?
Yes, I got 3 months on him. And we have worked so hard for 15 years now to get to where we are. And we love it. We love going to work every day. It sounds so nerdy, but it's like you can't wait. And we've built up a team of people that we just adore.
How many do you have right now?
There's a total of 17 on Team Smith, but not everybody's a salesperson. Some people are marketing, some people are front desk, some people are assistants, and then we've got a few people that are in the sales part of it that work with buyers, and then we have a few people on the team that work with sellers. So we just feel so blessed, and anybody that wanting to get into real estate, just know it's a very rewarding career, but you got to work. You got to hustle.
All right. So what does that mean? Talk to me about working and hustling. What does that mean to you?
That means working on vacation, working on Friday night, working on Saturday, working on Sunday. I think I've literally worked 7 days a week for 15 years. Mm-hmm. Now, one thing that I've gotten good at, and I hope our team, has gotten good at too, we've preached it to them, is to learn how to time block. Mm-hmm. And at the beginning of every week, my husband and I sit down with our planner. We don't have it put on the computer or anything. It's on a big piece of paper. And we have a little girl, so we've got to get, when are we going to gymnastics? When is volleyball? Things like that. And the first thing we do with our week is that we actually plan our time block off.
Right.
So, like, for instance, I'll work on a Saturday morning, but by 11 o'clock in the morning, I want to be finished because I want to go have family time. So we time block all the date nights and family time, volleyball time. We do all the fun stuff first, and then we pack it in with work. So we know what's going to happen throughout the week.
So managing your time probably helps you sort of free up your time, I guess.
Yes. Yeah,
and it's a conversation. That's interesting. We both of us have our spouses in the business with us, so it's planning that time is pretty hard. And you end up, it's very difficult even when you're on vacation to not talk about work, or when you're on date night. My wife and I went out Friday night. Same thing. It's like you talk about work. It's like, all right, time out. Let's talk about something else and do stuff like that.
Right.
So it's interesting.
Yes.
So what advice would you give somebody that's coming into the business? How do they get started?
Okay, my first year in real estate, what I did is for an entire year, every Sunday I made a deal with myself for an entire year that I would do an open house every single Sunday. If I didn't feel well, if it was my birthday, if it was a holiday, whatever it was, I was going to do 52 open houses. And that's really how I built my business, was going with the open
So
house.
how did you get these open houses? Clearly you didn't have the listings.
Right. No, I had no
So who did?
listings. Brand new in the business.
So you just talked to people in your office and said, hey, I'll sit at your open house?
I was lucky enough to go to a RE/MAX office where the broker was amazing and she had a ton of listings. And so we would go to her and say, where can we be? Put us at an open house. It's a win-win for everybody. So if you're going to get into the business, please find a successful mentor, team leader, brokerage. I mean, I would interview several places and choose somewhere that's going to support you.
So let's talk about the open houses. How did you get business? Like what happened at the open house?
Well, I got
If you built your business on an open house, what does that mean? How did you build that?
I just thought, well, where else am I going to be that buyers are literally walking in the door? Yeah. They're coming to me. And if I could show my value that I'm an honest, hardworking, ethical, moral person, I'm going to take care of you. Let me know what you're looking for. Is it 4 bedrooms? You need to be in Dutchtown School District. I'm just making an example. I'm going to do a certain search and be able to help you find your dream home. So I felt like if I could convey that to them, my heart, that I'm going to do a good job for you and I'm going to work hard and you can trust me. Give me a chance, basically. Yeah. And that's how I built it up.
I think it's interesting. I think one of the lessons that I think you learned inadvertently was sort of being in the restaurant business. And I always kind of look at some people that have been in the restaurant business. I could say the same thing for retail as well, but folks that come from the restaurant business have a unique perspective. Number one, they've dealt with every single personality there is.
Right.
Number two, they are used to irregular work hours. And number three, they know what hard work is.
Right.
So, when you say you work 24/7, I think a lot of that just comes from the restaurant business. You're like, well, I'm used to doing it, so let's just go ahead and do it.
I enjoy it. It's fun. And I think if you can find a career that you love, it's not really working. It's so fun to me that Mr. and Mrs. Jones are coming in from Texas, and I get to help them find their dream home. I get to sit down at the closing table with them, and there's just not a better feeling. So it's not it's not like it's a stressful, hard thing. It's a wonderful thing, and I feel so blessed to be in a career that I just love.
So a new agent comes on your team. What kind of onboarding do you have there? What is that?
When I hire somebody, I hire them with my heart.
Okay.
So when they come on, they've got me 100% behind them. So I typically interview people about 5 times.
Wow.
I got to make sure that it's going, if I'm going to give you 100%, I need to really understand what I'm getting in you. And I also make sure they gel with the team. Everybody on our team is friends.
Yeah.
And, it's so cute. Half of them were working out together this morning before they got to work. It's so cute to know that they're hanging out together, and I just love that. I think God is so good bringing this group of people together that love each other, love their job. And so I've got to make sure that the new person is gonna fit in with Team Smith. Mm-hmm.
So what kind of questions are you asking? I don't know if I can ask that. Is there federal laws? There's probably federal laws against questions you can't ask, but you're just you hire for fit, not necessarily for talent, I guess is what we're trying to say.
Right. Well, I have to know that they're willing to, this might sound kind of bad, I don't know, willing to make nothing to be able to help a client.
Okay.
So if I feel that, I go a lot on feeling, okay, I'm intuitive, and so I want to know that somebody's not in the business to make money. That should be a byproduct of it, that you're truly in this to help a family or an individual or whatever find the house or sell their home. And in real estate, you go through a lot with people. Maybe they just experienced a death. Maybe they're going through a divorce. Maybe something financially has happened, and you almost turn into part counselor. And I want to make sure that everybody on our team is really for that other person, wanting to help them solve their problem. So that would be my main thing that I would be looking for, in the interview process.
It's an interesting concept. I mean, you get into the business. I mean, there's a lot of people that get into business to make money. There's a lot of people that make a very good living doing this.
Right.
But it's just, that's an interesting perspective. I guess I've thought about it, but I've never really sort of thought about it out loud in terms of making nothing in order to help a client. What's the overall objective?
Right.
And I think, would you agree, possibly, that the fact that you make nothing to help a client, that in turn creates more business?
Right. I mean, it sounds cheesy, I guess, but when you do the right thing, it comes back to you. It comes back to you every time. And so, yeah, just really search your heart. Are you getting into the business because you're just hoping that you make $1 million? Well, your clients are going to feel that from you, and they're not going to want to work with you.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the work. I mean, I think one of the biggest misconceptions of you, at least that I sort of perceive, is you are very nice and happy-go-lucky and that sort of thing, but you work your butt off.
Yes.
I think that you and your husband,
Yeah.
but I mean, there is a certain amount of work or progress that you put in. So what does your typical day look like? Oh
gosh, which day of the week?
Well, what would your perfect day be like? What do you try to do every day?
Well, anything that I don't want to do, I do it first thing in the morning.
Okay.
So that it's over with. I want to have a limit on the day of when I stop working every day.
Okay.
One of the things that's been super important to me is my little girl, Wesley. She's 12 years old, and I want to make sure that I pick her up every day. I didn't want to hire a nanny or something like that. So at 3 or 3:30, depending on how her day is going, I want to make sure I'm the one picking her up. And my clients know that, and they respect that.
So how do you tell your clients about that? Just when you meet with them, you say?
Oh yeah, I'm 100% a family person. It's God and family with me, and I end up with the nicest clients. They all respect that,
Right?
And to me, if somebody didn't respect that, that wouldn't work out anyway. So yeah, and once I get Wesley home, dinner cooked, homework done, things like that, I'm typically back on my computer, searching for comps. Flood zones, things like that. I'm typically back on my computer maybe for a couple of hours or so. And what I will do is Fridays, I'll work really, really late, and I'll work a little bit Saturday morning because the rest of the day is a fun day.
Yeah.
So whether we go out on the boat, you've been out on the boat, right?
It's been awesome.
Something like that. So I'll work really hard so that I've got the next day time blocked, and I'm just going to work a little bit in that morning, and I'm done for the day. I want to go have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the stuff you don't like doing. What are some things you don't like doing?
Delivering bad news.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if one of our houses has fallen through, it needs to be put back on the market. Yeah. If a structural problem was found with the foundation, mold was found in a home, termites, anything just bad news that I've got to tell my client and break their heart, that's what I'm not wanting to do. So I need to do that first thing.
Yeah.
I used to wait and say, okay, I'm going to call them at lunch, or I'm going to call them at this time. No, it's better. If it's bad news, get it over with. And sometimes the client's like, oh, okay, no problem. We'll get that repaired. Or, it's no big deal. We got this, Laura. They're more calm about it, I guess, than I am. So bad news first.
You set yourself up for, you play it up in your head so much that sometimes it gets a little, overwhelming.
Right.
All right, so what would you attribute your success to? What do you think? How do you think you got here?
I mean, that's a tough question. Huh?
I know. That's why I'm asking it.
Okay. I mean, you always know that God puts you in certain places. So first of all, it would be through Him. I'm lucky to have a sweet hubby that supports me, supports the team, is behind everything 100%, doing the right thing, working hard, and genuinely loving people.
Yeah.
So, and I think the misconception a lot of times is people say, well, Laura, I want to get into real estate. I love looking at houses. I love seeing beautiful houses on Sunday. Well, that may not be the reason you need to get into real estate. You might need to get into a different career that might be with designing homes or something like that, because real estate is problem solving all day long.
Right.
It's not as glamorous as people think.
So what are some of the biggest problems that you've had? Like what challenges would you say that you sort of at least faced? Maybe you solved, maybe you haven't.
Probably it's going to be when a seller, their home is under contract, and the buyer might quit their job the day before the closing. The lender calls to verify to make sure that they still have their job, and they don't have a job anymore. In the meantime, I've got a seller completely packed up, trying to move to Michigan or whatever, and I have to call them and say, I know you think you're closing tomorrow at noon, but the deal just fell through. That is gut-wrenching. That has happened unfortunately more than
Yeah.
I'd like to say.
So how do you have that conversation? Just like that?
Mm-hmm. It's very sad. Typically, I might have to do that in person and just reassure them that things always work out. It's going to go back under contract. It's going to be temporarily a bad situation, to be honest with you, but it will sell again. We just got to be aggressive, get it back on the market, and let it go. You got to move on fast. Yeah. I've learned that too. We can't wallow in it. Bad things happen. Move on.
So let's talk about your business. Like, where do your clients come from?
I know it's a little maybe boring to say. It's past clients and it's referrals.
Okay.
We do have a few systems in place with a system called KV Core.
Okay.
So that would be something that generates new leads. We do a tremendous amount of open house business, sometimes a month with our closings. Let's say if we're having 20 closings that month, half of them probably came from open house.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Buyer side?
Either way.
Yeah.
Either way. So sometimes we'll be at a listing, having an open house there, and the neighbors will walk over and say, wow, y'all been marketing this house like crazy. Y'all are having open houses every Sunday. I see all the directionals. I see it on social media. Your pictures were amazing. Will you sell my house too? Yes, we will.
We will.
We would love to, yes.
So let's talk, I want to go two different places. Let's talk first about the past clients. What type of, you talked about past clients and referrals. So how do you stay in touch with those folks? Is it a plan? Is it just random?
We sit down, Stephen and I, my husband and I, and then our three ladies, we call them the back shop ladies, that we adore. We sit down normally in November and we plan out our next year. What postcards are going to go out, a client appreciation party, hey, this particular client has sent me 10 referrals. Let's do something awesome for that person. Just having it all year long on what's going to go out.
It's one of the interesting, so you do it all in the month of November, and then it's just automatic, it automatically goes out?
So in November, we pick one day, brainstorm the whole day, have the plans, we're done with it.
And then all of 2019 is done?
Done, yes.
I think that's ingenious.
But I can't think about it past that point. I got to go, and I don't have time to stop down, to stop and say.
So y'all do it kind of all in a day?
One day, yes. We brainstorm it. We'll come up with 100 ideas, price it out, and go, okay, we can't do all of those, but let's choose 12 amazing ideas, something like that.
Do you have an example of like an idea?
Sure. Last year, one of the things that we loved was, and it rained so bad that day, but we hired out a place to do a breakfast and invited all our past clients to just a beautiful breakfast. And even though it poured, we had a great turnout. So little things like that, just where our clients know we're still in the business, we care about you. If you know somebody buying or selling, please send them to Team Smith.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And the other kind of piece to that is the marketing piece. All right. So when you go through marketing, you said that people walk over and say, hey, all of this, what are some things that y'all do that may be unique that other agents may or may not know about?
Well, when we're listing a house, possibly. Okay.
Either way.
Okay. When we go to list a house, we really spend a lot of time on the pricing strategy.
Okay.
And typically, I'll run comps, my husband will run comps, and we might even get a third opinion in the office and not tell each other what we think. Wow. And then that way you've got 3 or 4 realtors pricing one house to kind of come up with an idea. I specialize in staging, where I can walk through a house and say, we got to move that chair, we got to move this, let's change this around. We want all professional pictures, period. And we spend a fortune on the pictures.
It's worth it though?
Yes, absolutely. We take a lot of time on writing specific comments, and that sounds so simple, I guess, but with the search engines and everything, you need to make sure that you have keywords in the bottom in those comments. So we might even mention a restaurant or something like that. Hey, it's near Mike Anderson's, or it's near such and such, and things will pull up like that. So I think that slowing down the listing presentation, staging it perfectly, having professional pictures, having those comments, and the best day to release, this is a good tip, REALTOR.com came out with a study that said the best day to release a listing is on Thursdays. So we'll release our listing on Thursdays if possible. The next thing is the entire team, 90% of the team, is going to go preview the home unless maybe they've got a different appointment or something like that. So on Tuesdays, my entire team will go preview it so that they can say, oh, wait, this room smelled a little different. This room needs to be cleaned or this needs to be done. So you just have that many more
Your sellers get instant feedback before all of that.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Yes. Then we have a lady on our team that handles all of our marketing. She makes everything look beautiful. And sometimes people say, Laura, you did a great job. It was not me. It was the marketing director. She does amazing.
So how'd you go about hiring that person?
It's another God thing. Yeah. And our children went to school together. And I have a charity that we can talk about later. And she stepped in and helped with the charity. And I recognized her talents. And I said, you got to come on Team Smith.
That's funny.
She's able to take chaos and make it make sense. Bullets, what do you say? Bullets all the way down. Yeah. Taking something just, even like a listing where it's all these pieces and she can make it make sense. And then we can put it online. Zillow, we have an account with Zillow as well. Sure. And get it out there. She handles the marketing, social media, all of it.
So let's talk about starting the team. How'd that go about? It was you and Steven, and then Kim came on board.
Right.
And then how did y'all grow? Did y'all intentionally grow, or did y'all just...
No, we saw a need that, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Jones are coming in from Houston, need to buy a house this weekend, and I can't help them. I don't have time. And my husband can't help him. He doesn't have time. That's terrible to pass up business.
Right.
And so we were able to hire Chris Horner, who's actually my cousin. He came in and started working with our buyers, and people just fell in love with them. So he would say, hey, let me walk in the door. I'll take the buyers. I'll go show them property. And he was able to take the sale, and we were able to still profit from it, help with some of our expenses, and he gets a sale. So it was win-win for all of us. When we saw that was working really well, we added another and another. And you start thinking, well, we must not have enough business for everybody. The more people that we've brought on, the bigger we've gotten and it's just grown and grown and grown. So
how do you, the biggest, one of the things that I see from agents that want to form a team is and it's just my observation, is that they turn into a manager. What got them there was sales and that sort of thing. So how do you manage this whole team? I mean, that's got to be kind of exhausting at times.
No, it's really not. We love it.
Do you think of yourself as a manager?
I think of myself as the team leader.
Okay.
Well, my husband and I are the team leaders. Yeah. And the personality that I have, like for instance, CrossFit, which is an amazing thing, right? Well, when I tried it, I was so excited for everybody else there. I would not focus on myself. I was so excited that so-and-so hit their goal or did whatever, and I remember the coach or whatever was like, okay, Laura,
you can't come back.
Yeah, you got to focus on yourself too. But I'm a natural, not like cheerleader, I wouldn't say, but I'm so excited for everybody else's success.
You're very supportive.
I'm supportive, yeah. And so for me, it's so fun to watch our team join the team and be successful, get a new car. They've been able to put in a swimming pool, things like that. I get to watch them grow and know that I'm part of it because we're training them the whole way.
What a great perspective.
Yeah.
I can't think like that. My brain doesn't work that way, which is interesting.
Well, God made us all different.
I know.
Mondays, we have accountability. Okay, so Stephen handles that.
What does that look like?
Okay, so...
Do they set goals and then you, how...
Okay.
From an accountability standpoint.
Okay, well, let me back up from accountability.
Back up.
Okay, so what we did on our team is we divided them into two groups.
Okay.
So everybody has the choice to have every other Sunday off. So we have 10 open houses every Sunday-ish, and one group is doing it, then the next week, like that, okay? So that way they know their whole year schedule. If they want to do an open house every Sunday, they can, or if they need that weekend off, it's no problem. So whoever had open house that Sunday, the Monday, they come in and meet with Stephen, and he sits there all day in increments. Whichever 10 realtors it was, comes in and sits with him, and he just there to support them. Is there anything we can talk out? Is there, are you having a problem with any of the contracts, anything like that? So he sits there with them all day. Then on Tuesdays, we have our Team Smith meeting from 10 to 12. And thank you. You taught it for us
it's fun.
a couple of weeks ago. And we always start off with a devotional, a prayer. We'll discuss kind of life stuff. I always say the first 30 minutes is like going to church.
It is.
It is.
Legitimately.
It is. And then we talk about real estate for the next 90 minutes. After that, and I love this, the team goes to lunch together, and then they go preview all of our new listings. Wednesdays, we have boot camp, the real estate boot camp.
What does that mean?
10:30 to 12. And we will choose a topic that we feel like we all need to work on a little bit. Maybe it's working on pricing a home, a listing appointment, flood zones. Sometimes it's not super exciting, but it's going to be an extra 90 minutes on one topic. We do that on Wednesdays. On Thursdays, see, we got it down.
Yeah.
Okay. On Thursdays, anybody that's in the open house group has got to go put their open house sign up on Thursdays. Okay. And then Fridays is just whatever they feel like they need to do, show them property or whatever. And then we just start the whole week over.
That's interesting. So here's what I take from that.
Okay.
I think it really is, and I had never heard that process before, but I really think it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because, from where I sit, I get agents that may say,
right,
how do I become successful? Or, I can't be Laura. I don't have 10 open houses a week. I don't really know how to do this. But from that standpoint,
they could call me and we have an open house that they could be at. Call me. I'll be glad to help them. Okay? I love helping people.
But from that standpoint, you look at, Monday,
mm-hmm.
you've got a certain period of time where you're very conscious about your business. And
right.
you're going, okay, let me do some self-reflection.
Right.
Where can I get help? So Monday is accountability, right, where you get advice. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, you're taking 90 minutes to 2 hours where you're really learning.
Right.
And you're really trying to better either a concept or the market or certain things
right.
like that. And I think that's, to some degree, that's what a lot of agents may miss is
mm-hmm.
is they get into these conversations and they may not know, they can't be as confident,
right,
because they can't get out information. And one of the things that I took away from being with your group a few weeks ago is their confidence is when you start talking about something, they immediately feel confident, so they can have these confident conversations with buyers and sellers, and I really think it sets them apart.
Right.
And I didn't know the genesis of that, and the Tuesday and that Wednesday sort of 90 minutes, I think, is where it comes from.
I hope so. And we've poured into them. We've been available when they need
mm-hmm.
it. We've also had to say, hey, what you're doing isn't working, and they appreciate the negative feedback too, because I don't want them working so hard not making any money.
Right.
So if we can change up something, let's work on it. We do listen to a lot of Tom Ferry, those quick videos.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to YouTube and type in Tom Ferry and try to listen to one a morning. Some of them are 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Some are 19 minutes, but they're helpful.
Yeah.
They're really helpful. And it's a good review for me too.
So now let's wrap up by talking about something that I know is near and dear to your heart and the Christmas gift. So let's tell people what it is.
Okay.
And then we can kind of go from the genesis of that all the way to where it is now. So what is it? Clearly it's around Christmas.
Oh gosh. Okay. So first of all, it has a Facebook page, The Christmas Give, Give, not gift. So it's The Christmas Give. And I started it, I think it's either 10 or 11 years ago.
It's a while.
That's about right.
Yeah, that's about right.
Okay. And it started off simple. We had a pretty big closing and we wanted to do something nice for someone else. And so my husband knew of a family that had many children and they were very, very, very poor. And so what we did is we just got some, you've heard the story. How many times have you heard this story?
Keep going.
Okay. But anyway, we got some things together and brought it over to their house for Christmas. And when we did that, we actually stood on the front lawn and just really started crying because we had so missed the mark. We had brought them Barbies and basketballs and things like that, and they were starving and cold. And, you hate to give a starving child it was ridiculous. So we got some friends together and did it again and went back and brought blankets and food and things like that. So the next year, we just took on another family. And then I realized, okay, these needs are greater than what Stephen and I can personally afford. They're behind on their rent. I mean, you name it, severe medical bills, things like that. So I realized with being in real estate, I'm so resourceful with title companies, lenders, past clients, my good friends Brent and Lancaster, and I reach out to as many people as I can to help out. And when you have a group of people blessing others, first of all, you're the one that gets blessed, but you can do more in a group. Then it grew and it grew and it grew. It's almost embarrassing to say what it is now.
Yeah, no, it's huge. She was running out of a garage. And then finally it got way too big for the garage. Then it got too big for the office. And now it's a ballroom at a hotel. So it's grown.
It's grown. So now,
last year, what are some things that y'all were able to do last year?
Okay, so in the Renaissance Hotel, shout out to them. Mm-hmm. They give us right there in Baton Rouge. They give us a ballroom where we can take in all the donations, sort everything, and deliver it that day. And now we have 100 homeless people. We make backpacks for bags. We adopted a school as well. It's 96 school children. So we raised enough to put a pair of shoes on all these poverty-stricken kiddos that will warm your heart. The Gardier Community Christian School in Gardier in Baton Rouge. And then we adopt about 25 families in addition to that. So we adopt about 300 people for Christmas. It sounds crazy. And I bet we have 150 volunteers now. Mm-hmm. And it's not stressful. That's what's crazy to me is it just is like organized chaos.
Yeah. So what happens is she's downplaying it big time. Is basically the families may submit a Christmas list, and they don't know that this is all being done, but they, in essence, submit a Christmas list of maybe needs that they have, and then Laura just kind of gets to work. And one day she'll call and say, hey, there's a shelter that needs such and such. Can you help? Or we'll get a call that says, hey, somebody's behind on their rent. Can you write the management company a check? Or hey, this year we want to give everybody a ham or a turkey, and then people will donate. So this list, just Laura does a great job of organizing the list and making sure that everybody's needs are met. Then all of that comes to the Renaissance just kind of as a staging area, and then it gets spread out. So we've done it a lot in the past where you just load your truck full of something and you go deliver it to this family, and it's I mean, we delivered everything from Christmas trees to hams to, money to whatever it is, and then it really it's a neat day where you can kind of be around everybody as they're loading, and then you go out and kind of distribute everything there as well. It really, really is cool, and it has since grown to
and every year
100-person operation.
Yeah. Oh no, we're not going to take on any more. And then somebody will call and say, hey, I heard of a family that's living under the bridge. And they've got 2 children. I mean, you don't have to look far to see homelessness and poverty. It's right here in our city. And if we can do something simple to have somebody have a good Christmas, and I mean, we've on some of the families, maybe we've raised 6 months rent where they're good until July.
Right.
And then they can get back on their feet. And the best part is those families that got on their feet, a lot of times next year come to help bless others. That's when I love it.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild. So tell them again how they can help if they want to help out.
Okay, the best way is if you're going to go to Facebook and The Christmas Give. It's a public page. And then I will be posting, I think it's December 19th. It's December 8th or 9th. I'll have to look. It's that Sunday. I already have it scheduled. And normally around September is when I start working on it. I'll post, hey, such and such family needs X, Y, and Z. They're about to be evicted. It's a single mom, 4 children, things like that. And then somebody will say, I'll adopt them. And I would encourage you to, if you are interested in the Christmas Give, to me, one of the best things is when we go to the school and pass out those shoes to those kids. They go crazy. It's a Christian school. Everybody that goes there is below poverty level. So a lot of them have never had a brand new pair of shoes, and they just hug you. They tackled me, actually. So I probably had, 5 or 6 7-year-olds just tackled me on the playground. It's just awesome. It's an awesome feeling. Yeah.
Well, good. Well, thanks for this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. I'll do anything for you.
Well, until next time. We're going to bring you and your husband back in here next time.
Okay.
I'd like to hear what he has to say.
Get
so,
the full Team Smith.
You got it.
All right.
Well, thanks so much. Really
Thank
appreciate
y'all.
you tuning in. And if you have any questions, as always, call her. Don't call me.
Email me. Hey, I can give my email address.
Go for it.
LauraTeamSmith@gmail.com. So, yeah, I'll be glad to help if there's anything I can do.
Thanks, Laura. You're the best.
Okay.